you get when you combine two childhood friends who have never grown up, have an unhealthy competitive streak, and always think they're the funniest people in the room? You get the Unfunniest Podcast!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well now, we call this the act of mating.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children.
And once again, yes, we do want to scare your children. Welcome. Week 2. This is our second episode, everybody. I can't believe we made it this far. We haven't been kicked off the YouTube yet. We haven't done anything too crazy, but want to welcome everybody back to our second episode. Saying thank you for joining us today. We've got a great one here today and a special guest coming up. But for myself, Mike Ward, and Jim Ward, thank you for coming back again. Once again, please take a look at all the social media links, like our podcast, so send it to your friends, make sure we do everything else. And we've got a special guest today, and I think it deserves a unique little introduction. What do you guys say, Ward Brothers?
Yeah.
Let's roll. Here we
Jim
go.
Ward. And at guard, a 5'9" senior from Marine City, Cardamooney, number 15, Mike McAndrews.
Well, I appreciate that introduction.
Like the old days, man.
I've apparently shrunk since 1993, but thank you for that intro.
What's the
All right, that was pretty cool.
What's the tallest you ever said you were, Mike McAndrews?
I've lied quite a bit at 6 foot in college.
In college?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny. The tallest guy, the shortest guy was 6 foot in college, weren't they?
Yeah, me.
Dude, you were quick.
He was always quick.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Quick off the ball. Saw the court.
Well, that being
Good
said,
times back in the day.
Absolutely. So
sure.
for anybody that doesn't know us well, we'll introduce Mike McAndrews is another one of our Mooney boys from the summer of '89. Once again, can you believe that is 36 years ago this summer, McAndrews and Ward?
Yeah, and I had a jump start on everybody because I was in summer school.
Oh, that's right.
Father Ray.
Were you really?
I didn't do very well on my high school placement test, so me, Beeth, and Bobby were in math and English. So my joke is Bobby was in math with me and Beeth was in English with me. So Beeth couldn't read, Bobby couldn't add, and I couldn't do either.
That's a little known fact I had no idea about.
Yeah.
Summer. There's a couple things I remember from that summer. Number one, the bus trip to Cedar Point. And it was after the Pistons won the championship. So we all had those cartoon Pistons T-shirts on with the championship. And there's still a smell. Whenever I smell it today, I go back to the summer of '89. Whenever I smell anything being retard.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
The building. Oh, whenever I smell tar, I just immediately
pull it up to football practice.
Yeah, the old building.
Throwing up in the parking
Lance
lot.
Cruz Central.
Yeah.
Middle school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They kicked us out.
They did.
So
North
we're
Young
here
Man.
today for a couple things. Number one, obviously, we want to interview Mike. Want to talk to him about his basketball history. Mike is the head basketball coach for how many years now at Cardamooney?
I just finished my 27th year.
27 years.
Yeah.
Mike's been a coach.
Crazy,
there. So,
dude. I mean, you have evolved into an elite coach.
I appreciate that.
It's an
My
understatement.
personal opinion. Yeah.
So we're going to talk to him about that today. We're going to talk about everything going on, but there's one thing we really want to talk about and share, and it's we mentioned a friend of ours, Bob Patterson. Bob Patterson right now is going through and Mike, why don't you just start? You and Bob have always been great friends.
Yeah. So
kind of talk about
one of our high school friends, a friend to all of us, that we all met in 1989 as freshmen. As we all came from different grade schools and culminated at Cardamooney. We met Bobby, and I think every single one of us formed an instant bond with Bobby. Bobby was diagnosed last July with a rare form of cancer called neuroendocrine tumor. It is inoperable at this particular moment. We started a fundraiser in December And since December, we've raised online on our GoFundMe just under $150,000 for Bobby and his family. Our goal is $175,000. There's been so many people from Cardamone, from Notre Dame Prep, where Bobby and his wife have been lifelong educators, that have reached out and helped support this family and made it possible for him. As you guys know, he recently sought treatment down at MD Anderson in Houston to get an opinion down there. And as a matter of fact, that trip, it didn't result in exactly what they were hoping in terms of like surgery to remove the tumor and getting that kind of news, but they were able to get approved for a brand new chemo pill that the FDA just approved like 10 days ago that targets this specific type of cancer. And Bobby has reacted very well to that chemo in terms of the side effects and whether it's making him sick or not, like the first couple of rounds did. So he's had a real positive response to that. So all the money raised goes directly to his family. As you know, he's got 3 little children. He's got a fourth grader and twin second graders. So our goal is to just make sure that there's no financial burden. They got enough on their mind trying to deal with this and fight this battle, that if we can relieve, you guys know, Mike, you and Mark and I and all of our friends have talked about this. It's a helpless feeling. You really you can't do anything physically. If we could take it from him, we all would, right? We'd share it. We'd share in that physical pain. And we can't. And I just felt like, we had to do something to help ease the burden for him and his family. Because you guys know as well as I do from 35 plus years ago of meeting Bobby that everybody's better that has Bob Patterson in their life.
Mm-hmm.
What you've done, Mike, is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, I can't even put into words how you've got behind him. Not that you wouldn't have, but you guys probably are the closest of all of us. But what you've done to promote this, what you've done to get behind him, support his family, I mean, literally on an everyday basis. I mean, Bobby says it. Mark tells me that, he talks to Bobby. He's like, dude, McAndrews is just, he's got my back. And
it's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
Well, like I tell Bobby, it's the first time in our friendship that me being relentless and annoying has actually paid off for him.
Oh man.
Kind of a quick story on that. Like, as we get older, we start to think about things differently. And as I've gotten older and had children myself, I believe that God put you in a certain place to do a certain thing. And last summer I had the opportunity. I was approached about another high school job that was very intriguing, one of the top jobs in the state. And I met with them and I considered it. And something just aside from my allegiance to Cardamone called me, kept saying, this is where you belong, man. And had I not made that decision, I don't think we could have done this for Bobby.
Really?
If I'm at another school, we can't have an event. They don't know Bobby. There's no connection. There's no Cardamone connection, alumni connection. Like that's a great point, man. Yeah, it reiterates to me that's where it's where I belong.
That was going to be one of my questions for you, Mike, or McAndrews. Sorry. So talking to Paul Smerick, one of my customers, he brought up you got offered the De La Salle position. Is that
we talked. Yeah, we talked.
Yeah.
We talked last summer.
I think there was a rumor of Oakland University too.
No,
he's not going to divulge.
That was a rumor, but that was strictly a rumor.
Rumor that has absolutely no substance.
I'm starting a rumor right now. Ward is taking over for Dan Dickerson and the Tigers. So
there you go.
No.
Yeah.
But there's been a couple times. Over the course of my 27 years where we were fortunate to have some good runs, and I've been approached by other schools. And it's just. The longer
There's a reason
I do
for
it,
that, Mike, because you are elite, like Jim said. I'm
not
just saying that.
I've had really good players too.
Well,
yeah. But for me at this particular stage in my life, I'm not chasing anything, right? I'm not chasing money. I'm not chasing a bigger school. I'm not chasing a college job. My family, my wife, my kids are deeply rooted in the Cardamone community and our program. And I always thought, and part of the decision-making process internally, and I've never really talked about this publicly, but part of the decision-making process for me last summer was, if something, God forbid, were to ever happen to me, there's no doubt in my mind that the community would rally to make sure that my wife and children are taken care of. Just so happens a short month later, I found out about Bobby, and the communities have done just that for one of their own.
Yeah. Well, obviously we're going to have, and we'll post on all of our socials. We'll post on everything, the link from Mike for the GoFundMe. So everybody that's out there, anything that can help, it's just going to alleviate one of those stresses from Bobby and Kelly that they don't have to worry about when it comes to going to appointments, to going to anything else, and no matter where they need to go in the world for any treatment, we're going to do that. But knowing Bobby, and we've known him well enough, he's going to say, stop talking about this junk and let's ask some good questions. So Mike, got some questions for you about some of your basketball background, and what I want to start with, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is you during the summers when you were in college. Didn't you play at St. Cecilia's?
I did.
So talk about who were some of those guys that you played along with.
I was the only 5'9" white kid. Thanks, Mike. I told those guys I was 5'11".
Yeah.
So yeah, who were the guys that you played against?
There was, it was, if you walked into that gym in 1995 or 1996 in the summer, you'd look around and go, one of these things is not like the others.
So okay.
It was me, right? Because
did they have air conditioning at that point?
Huh?
Was that when they had air conditioning, or was that before they got the air conditioning?
It was before air conditioning. Yeah. It was Winford Walton, who was at Syracuse. It was Tractor Trailer. It was Travis Conlon, who was at Michigan. I mean, there was just all these Division I players, and then this short Division III kid who begged his way in. And to be honest with you, as good as the basketball was and a great experience it was for me, they played the Pro-Am games right before ours. So we'd go down, my dad and I would drive down on a Wednesday night, waiting for our game, and watch the Pro-Am, and we'd watch like Jalen go at Vashawn Leonard and Chris Webber. Wow. And it was some of the best basketball I've ever seen with my own eyes. So that was a great experience.
Not that I've ever seen it. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but everyone talks about Rucker Park during the summertime.
Yeah.
And those are all the and one guys. Those are all the street ball guys. But this seems like back in the day, I don't know if St. Cecilia is still around doing the same thing, but that was the mecca for Midwest basketball for pros and college, wasn't it?
Without a doubt. And at one point in the late 80s, early 90s, Detroit was the epicenter of college basketball. It's where guys came to recruit, man. It's where guys came to recruit. You know, you look at Weber Out of Country Day, and you had that half of the entire starting five, I think, from Jalen's high school team played in the Big Ten.
Detroit Southwestern, wasn't it?
Yeah. With Perry Watson, who ended up being a college coach himself. And then you had Vashawn Leonard, who was over at Borges, who played at Michigan State. I mean, the basketball that was being played, because at that time there was no AAU. No. Like, you just went and played somewhere in a gym you could find, right? Like, or at a park. Like, that's how you got better.
I thought that was pretty cool that Coach K reached out to you about Bobby.
Yeah,
Duke.
So
dude, that was awesome.
One of the things that when you coach for a long time, you build really good relationships with a lot of guys. And I thought to myself, if I'm not using my platform and my the relationships that I have to help a friend, then what am I doing, right?
Right.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to befriend Phil Martelli, who was the coach at St. Joe's for a very long time. He's a Philly guy. My parents are from Philly. He knew my dad, the guys my dad ran with in high school. So when he came to Michigan, I met him at a coach's clinic and introduced myself, and he gave me his phone number, and we had since kept in touch a lot. My nephew went and became a manager for him at Michigan. So the relationship got very, very close. And as a matter of fact, he found out about Bobby and reached out to me and said, how can we help? He's like, how can we help? So he started to promote it. And then he found out that one of Bobby's all-time favorite coaches was Coach K, and he was the one that put him in touch with me.
That's awesome.
I'm standing at practice, guys, on a Saturday morning, and my phone's buzzing in my pocket, and I look at it, and I usually don't answer it unless it's Bree, right? Unless it's my wife calling an emergency, I usually don't answer. So I look at it, it says North Carolina. I'm like, spam, back in my pocket. I get in my car and hit play, and it's like, hey, Mike, this is Mike Krzyzewski from Duke. I'm like, get out of here. Like,
who's doing the voice impersonation?
Yeah, exactly.
That's so cool.
It's AI generated, right?
Yeah,
like,
right.
Miller or Ward are behind this. So I played it like 3 times, and I called back, and he answered the phone right away. He's like, hey, Mike, what can I do? How can I help?
Oh, that's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
right,
and
so
to me, what it speaks to is the guys that have the power that use it in a positive way, right, to uplift other people. It's super powerful. It's super powerful.
Now let's get back to
when you're famous like that. It's you got different people, but like when you have heart, like it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he to the point where he was like, if he needs an opinion down here, I'm on the board of directors of the Duke Cancer Research Hospital. We'll get him down here. Like he
went to that extent.
Yeah, he was all in.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get back to some good questions.
All right.
Mike,
All right. Here we
you
go.
may
Are you
have
saying
a
Jim's
Not
wasn't
that
a good
wasn't a good
question? Because I
question.
thought it was a good question.
No,
I thought it was a good question too.
no.
Sorry.
Listen, Miller.
It's a question about Bob. Forget
Damn
that.
you,
So,
Miller.
Michael McAndrews, we know you have a slight temper on the sidelines.
Oh boy.
Not just on the sidelines.
How many technicals would you estimate you've gotten in those 26 years?
It's a great question.
Ooh.
In the last how many?
How many years you
all
been there?
time? I probably averaged 2 or 3 a year up until
That's it?
recently.
That's
yeah.
not bad.
So let me tell you, I want you to guess how many games I've been thrown out of.
0.
2.
I'm gonna guess. Jimmy.
Yeah.
How many? Guess.
How many games do you think I've
is
been thrown out of?
Pay attention.
Oh, sorry.
Earth to Jim.
I'm
this
gonna,
quick.
I'm gonna go with 29.
Oh my God.
One.
What? Damn it.
One?
Thrown out one time.
Price is
and
right.
It was the post-COVID year when we had to play in masks and everybody was angry at everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, that was way.
And we were in a
overboard.
regional
Sorry.
final. And
They threw you out.
yeah, the first one I wanted, right? Like we're boxing in one of their best player and he's shoving off and I'm warning him and then he doesn't. So I get a technical and not even the guy that calls it technical. The other guy comes walking over and I'm like, I warned him like 5 times. Like, boom, you're gone. I'm like,
So what's the paper in your back pocket all the time? What do you
that's
got?
just a reminder of like all of our sets. I learned a long time ago, like you can think you have it in your head, and then like
it's never there.
everything on there is situational, right? Like we have end of quarter or end of half. If we're down 2, if we're tied, if we're down 3, all of those situations are on that piece of paper of what we've
All right,
practiced
so I got
already.
another quick question. So your older brother Jim, how come you don't do the towel over
That's
the
funny.
shoulder?
I was just going to ask that same exact thing. I'm like, did you ever have a towel like Jimmy had? Dude, he would whip
Occasionally,
that thing
if
around.
the gym's really, really hot,
You'll
I
have
think
one.
he liked it because you could get away back in the day, like hitting kids with it.
Tarkanian. It's Jerry Tarkanian.
Yeah.
Dude, he was pretty fiery. Listen, I've told him this many times. I said, I hated you so much back then, but I look back, I'm like, you were by far the best basketball coach ever. We had
When I
no
went and
business
watched
winning the
guys
Catholic
games,
League.
I was so intimidated.
We had no
by it.
business winning it. We won it because you're brother.
Yeah.
And I
Oh, no
didn't
doubt.
I
No doubt. No
punked
doubt. Like
18-year-old kids back then, but
he's the reason I wanted to coach. Like,
Yeah.
not many people know this story, but my plan when I graduated college was just to come home and help him.
oh really?
Yeah, and I graduated in May of 98, and he was still coaching, and we had
Role
this plan. I was
reversal.
going to come help him, and then over that summer, he was working for Stryker Medical, and they moved him to the East Coast for a couple years.
Oh,
And
that's right.
I interviewed for the job with Benoit, and like there were 4 other applicants, and Benoit took a chance on me at 22.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no clue what I was doing at 22. Let me tell you that.
Well, he
Every
came
time I
back.
see some of those guys for their first, that from that first team, I'm like, boy, you got screwed with a bad coach, man.
He came back and was on the sideline with you for a while, right? Obviously,
Jim
to that
was,
Final
yeah.
Four run.
He came back. He was back with me for about 5 years. We went to the state championship game in 2010.
Yep.
And then, he was smart enough then to be like, we're never doing this again.
Didn't your sister?
So he went into officiating.
Refereeing.
Yeah.
It's very surreal to watch him. Me being on the sideline doing some of the announcing. And it's funny because I'll go up to him, and I always think to myself, "This is a total. You did the role reversal with him, and then he did role reversal."
Yeah.
And his reactions and
how he's so calm now.
Oh, it's
right?
crazy to watch him with the coaches and the looks on his face. They'll yell at him and he'll look over at him like, "Really?"
Yeah.
It's the best, man.
Is he on like Xanax now or something?
Yeah, right. No, you know what
he
it
gets
is?
pretty
He's
fired
like,
up in the stands at your games.
He does, but
he
he
does.
likes it because it keeps him involved in the game that he loves. He's like, but I can leave that gym and I'm not getting an email from a parent who didn't play, nothing.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you real quick. Just you obviously don't need to go into detail, but do you feel that the parental involvement has escalated to on the negative side? Has it leveled off a little bit? I mean, listen, we all hear the stories. We all see the inappropriate behavior by some of these parents. But I mean, I've seen you, I've watched you. You've done a fantastic job in how you handle it and how you kind of discern, what certain parents are doing, how they're reacting to you. But just kind of touch on that real quick too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fortunate to have, we don't have the problems from a student athlete perspective or parents or anybody that a lot of the other schools have. I'm very conscious of the fact, and always have been, that nobody wants to come to a game for 22 nights and not see their kid play, right? Your kid puts in the work. You want to see, the fruits of their labor.
Right.
Most of the time, it's very respectful. And we can have conversations. I think the dynamic that has changed in my 27 years has been that sometimes parents won't allow their child to fail. And I believe that there's a lot of really good lessons in failure and letting them work themselves out of that. I failed to keep my earpiece in and nobody came to my rescue. But I think sometimes parents and it's hard to watch your kids struggle and fail and work through it. Right. I think our generation of parents were kind of like, all right, I'll hear you out. I'm your sounding board, but you got to figure this out. You got to figure this out. Right. And I think that sometimes we just come to their rescue a little bit instead of specifically high school kids, right? Like we're talking about 16, 17, 18-year-old kids that, our seniors are going to be on their own in 6 months.
Right.
Mom and dad's not coming to their rescue.
Exactly. And
right.
That's it. It feels like the parents think that the onus is on them to get their child student, athlete, whatever, into the game. And it's like, relax, teach them the right way, teach them to do the right thing. Hard work gets you everywhere. And that's what's going to get you places in life. And, the kind of the miscommunication gets with this generation is the technology, right? Like their communication all gets done via the computer in their pocket. Yep.
So when they get home, I don't necessarily think they're articulating the conversations I'm having with them the way that they've been discussed. And if a kid's not meeting the standard of what we expect them to do, they're going to go home and saying, I'm giving everything. You just tell me I'm not playing. Well, no, you're not. There's more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So with parents, everything else, and you've been on both sides. You played obviously for a number of years. You've been coaching for a lot longer. What has been more difficult for you, coaching or playing?
God, so long ago since I played. Probably coaching.
I was going to say.
Coaching's harder because you don't have control. Like when you're playing a sport, as you guys know, you're in control of what's going to happen next, or at least going to have a major part in it. Aside the coaching, the coaching side of it, all of your impact on the game is done in the preparation, right? Like what you do during the practice week. On game days, it's just a lot of it's just adjustments, but the impact that you can have on a game is preparing them in practice and building good habits and fundamentals. So it's much harder to impact, to sit and watch kids that you've been teaching to do things over and over and over again. When you're an athlete, you're like, I'll just do it myself.
Yep.
Yeah. I was the same. I remember the first time I was coaching football, and it was almost, I think I almost got sick on the sidelines before that first game because you have no, like you said, no control. You're in the game, you can control, you can do things, but you're just praying that you talk the kids right and they're going to do what they need to do there. So.
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to talk about your dad real quick, and you obviously lost your dad recently, or about a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
It was amazing to me because you would look over at your dad, and he was always, and I'm sure after the game at home, it might have been a different situation, but whether it was you or whether it was Jim, he was always so composed, and I always felt like, just from a 1,000-foot view, that you always kind of relied on him. Like, he was the rock. He was the one that kind of grounded you guys, whether it was you or Jim.
Oh, he grounded us, all right.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he deserved that.
He was always so stoic, and so he was just like the I don't even know what the word I'm looking for, but yeah, I was always so respectful of him for that and how he handled himself. So
yeah, he had he was the reason we fell in love with the game, right? Like the influence he had on us. He played at a high level back in Philly, played at Temple. So his love of the game is what just spilled over to the rest of us. A lot of times that stoic look, I think, was that he just didn't want to talk to other people. So he stood there so he didn't have to deal with other parents and small talk. Because he's so focused on the game, and you'd get in the car on the ride home and that stoic way would be gone. And it'd be, what are you doing? And I'd say, blame the coach. And he'd turn to the other seat and go, then what are you doing?
I love it. That's
so
great.
I know, Mike, you got to tend to some third grade math.
IXL math coming up.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Charlotte's going to be hitting that next year. I got that second grade math usually when I'm home. So as I'm in Indiana, thank God Kathy's taking care of that because I'd fail it. But just wanted to say thank you for coming on, Mike. Really appreciate it. And one day we'll get to that story of, I'm sure you remember when we were all living at the Lakeside Village Apartments when Bobby had to be the designated driver for the only time in his life. You don't remember that going through the Burger King drive-thru?
Probably why I don't remember it, because he was driving.
Yeah.
After that, we got home. He yelled at all of us and said, "I'm never doing this again in my life."
Well,
you guys
he
are
was true to his word on that.
Yeah.
So, again, Mike, thanks. As a parting gift and as a thank you, I'm going to give you about 6 singles so you can go to the 16 and Crocker McDonald's.
There you go.
Some double cheeseburgers and put it on my tab.
I still probably owe you like $3,000 from mooching off you in high school anyway. So.
Ditto.
So
I want to thank you guys, and wish you guys the best of luck with the podcast. And
thanks, man.
You guys know, it's not just Bobby. It's all you guys. It's all my Mooney people, my Mooney boys. We've got a bond that's, we could not speak to each other for years, and we pick up like we're 16 again. So I just want you to know how much I care about you guys too, and I appreciate what you're doing and bringing awareness to one of our dear friends.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for captaining it, man. You keep
Yep.
going. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love you, Mike.
All right. See you guys. Love you guys too.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
See you. Bye.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go.
That's great. Where'd you find that?
Oh boy. Here we go.
No. Miller's. Oh, I thought you got frozen for a minute there.
It did for a second. But
that was good.
Yeah, it really was. It was
went longer than was expected.
Yeah, Mike's incredible with all of that.
Go outside, nerd.
And I can't hear anything right
Get
now.
out. Go.
There it is.
I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go on.
That's from the
No,
Righteous Gemstones. Have you seen that?
Like, in all
yet?
seriousness, like,
yeah,
what he's done, just what I've seen, social media, like, it's incredible.
Yeah,
for
he's
Bobby. Kind of getting choked up here, but
yeah, it's nothing. That's why I said to him, I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to blow smoke up, where, but man, it's just unbelievable how he's taken the reins.
I've been through some terrible stuff, and you two have.
Yeah, the one thing that I take solace with that.
So
I know the group that we are, and I know you, Mike, I know you, Jimmy, I know Mike McAndrews, I know Bate, all those guys. We all know at the drop of a hat, any one of us would do the exact same thing for each other.
Yep.
And it's rare to find one or two people that you have a relationship with 5 or 6 years, let alone now 4 years. It'll be 40 years. But the fact that we can go through that we're together, we're, like Mike McAndrews said, thick and thin, we kind of go all through that, and incredible to see that. But and once again, thank you, Mike, for coming on. We're going to post all that again to social media, so anything you can give for Bobby and Kelly, that's definitely going to help out, and kind of go from there. But wanted to bring up a sore topic here now after yesterday's game.
Whoa!
Nice
man.
job, Red Wings. Way to go, Wings. Officially out of the playoffs.
I thought you were talking about your Broncos.
Oh, no, we're going to talk about that. I got a whole segment about that.
Sorry, I got out of the line.
No, Wings losing, and it's just another second year, a total collapse going down. You can't put words into it. Of last year, you could say they hadn't gone through it yet. A bunch of kids this year to do the exact same thing. The only last thing is at least it wasn't a point, and we didn't have to wait till the final game of the year.
You mean overtime of the final game?
Well, no, it didn't matter anyhow. It didn't matter because of Philadelphia. Yeah,
they pulled it. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think. Listen, I mean, it's been bannered about for weeks on end on all the sports talk radio, but. I'm one of the biggest Yzerman backers there is, but he needs to now recognize the urgency of what's going on. Did you see that? Somebody interviewed Fedorov the other day, and he kind of said the same thing. Fedorov said they're stuck. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a jab at him necessarily, but Yzerman's obviously drafted well, but he needs to
he's stepped up as a game.
I mean,
at the minimum.
They're not signing free agents where they need to. They're not He's trading.
He's trying to build it through the draft, and it's not working.
Now, listen, 3 years from now, I mean, it's very possible they get into a pretty damn good streak where they're going to the Cup Finals every year, but we haven't got there yet. So, I think
you bring up Fedorov too. They need to retire his jersey.
Well, there's a lot of debate on that.
Well, I mean, the question
I think it's necessary.
Are they even close?
No.
I don't think they're even close.
No. Nope.
And, I mean, that's a huge deal with that. You know, I mean, at least, you know, the Pistons, playoffs. I mean, the Pistons, they tripled their win total. Of course, when you only have 5 wins, tripling your win total is easy. But,
well, they're talking about Langdon did it. I hear this stuff about Langdon did everything. Okay, listen. Troy Weaver was clearly not the greatest in the world, but a lot of these players are from the Troy Weaver era too. So, I mean, it's not like Trajan Langdon just stepped in and all of a sudden, boom! They're in the playoffs. But
I'll tell you one thing: the fact that my dad is watching NBA games right now is hilarious because my dad's never been a big.
Is watching NBA games.
So, okay, a couple things here. Number one,
Stan.
Can we get him on the phone?
Stan, the man, texted me the other day and said. Well, he'll be on soon enough, but he texted me and said, I think I want to do my hair like Kate Cunningham. So what I did is I simply just went to AI and put a picture of up and said, what would it look like if my dad had Kate Cunningham's hair?
I can't wait. No.
So for those of you that are just listening on the audio portion, I'll post this picture, but it's my dad with a white silver afro.
You definitely did your homework for this.
Oh, that was spectacular.
So
I love it.
That's incredible.
So, but that's talking to people.
Look
right
like
now,
what's his name for
John Solomon.
No, well, yeah, you could look like John Solomon too. If you look like Larry Johnson in the movie, was Larry Johnson wore a
grandmama?
Yeah, grandmama, right?
You know, the Pistons are fun right now. You know, Kate Cunningham's playing well. You got the bad boy aspect, and I was talking to some dads at Charlotte School. Is that a good or a bad thing they're embracing the bad boys? Because definitely we know that it's not good when it comes to them calling technical fouls, and the NBA does not like that style of
I don't care.
Physical ball.
I don't care. Play physical. Play hard. Play defense. This run out, shoot threes from every position on the court. I mean, obviously,
That's how the sport should be played.
Yeah, exactly.
You look at LeBron and
teach these young kids. This is the problem. This is the problem in youth basketball right now. As much youth basketball as I watch, whether it's grade school or even into the high school and some of the JUCO college games that I call, these players need to recognize hard work and defense. Again, it's a 1,000-foot view, but you play defense, you're going to go someplace. This throw the ball halfway down the court and then all of a sudden jack up a 3-pointer is just, it's not there.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, Mike, when I filled in for you those couple of games, doing the Luther North games, it's the style of game right now. This inside out. It's not even an inside out anymore. This is strictly basically just a dump it outside and let's just throw up a prayer for a 3-pointer. Yep. It just gets old. It gets boring. And
crap, you got half court shots now happening.
I was doing the middle school girls game for you that time, and the middle school girls, 7th and 8th grade girls, that was how they were playing the game, and the coaches were wanting them to play the game that way. Here's the real beauty of it all too. We've got to a point now, and I saw this multiple times in the past couple of years. You're down by a team is down by 30 points, and a boy or a girl hits a 3-pointer, and they start doing that. I'm like thinking to myself, look at the scoreboard, know what the score is, and do not, if you're down by 30 points, start celebrating. Holy mackerel. If I was the coach, immediate timeout, you're out of the game right now. It might sound harsh, but it's just like this talking point started. Pistons, hard work, right? Respect of the game, hard work, defense.
I agree. 100%.
There's my rant.
In the first place, Tigers. But now let's get to the important things. Let's get to these important.
They lost today.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can only do so much when it comes to that. But so let me do this here.
Oh boy! All right, questions coming.
Here comes Miller.
No, it's not your favorite segment yet. This is going to be something a little bit different.
Right.
But
cool.
I just need to set this up here because there were some fun things.
Your delay.
Some fun things that took place yesterday.
Speaking of which, real quick, while you're bringing something up, we should all get together and go to a Tigers game together.
Oh yeah, we'll do a Unfunniest Podcast outing. But some precious cargo on a flight home this morning from St. Louis, and exactly your championship, Western Michigan Broncos.
Michigan, 1903. Is that the last time that? No, they've never won it, right?
This is their first championship, the NCAA championship since 1965, and that was for cross country.
Broom ball?
The room ball.
Oh, cross country.
Cross country was their only, and actually, I think they won
basket weaving.
They won.
Yes.
This is going to be really bad, Mark, story time, but I think they won one of the first NCAA College World Series, because the first couple College World Series were actually played at Western Stadium in Kalamazoo and not in Omaha. Yeah, those are the weird ones. But
your story has become tiresome.
Exactly. This is one of the first ones. It is surreal.
Just take your shirt off.
Oh, gee.
Amazing to see. The coolest thing was to see social media and everything from Detroit. Everybody celebrating that online, everything else, because
I was rooting for them.
Yeah. Mike experienced firsthand, what Western hockey was like. And
that's intense.
Oh,
that place is awesome.
And then Mike also, this is Jimmy, I don't think you ever heard this story, but Mike, we came back after the hockey game. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock. We're half in the bag. We had a couple beers in us before the game and during the game, and we get back to the dorm room, and your brother then goes, "Oh, I'm tired." He sits down and gets ready to go to bed. I'm like, "Michael, what are you doing?" "Oh, it's 11 o'clock. I'm like, "Hell no, we're going out to the next party." I had to drag your brother out to go partying to the frat houses.
It wasn't that difficult to drag me out.
You can
stay out for a while.
We'll tell some of those stories offline, because I don't think we could tell them online of how much your brother enjoyed the frat house. That was the one where the fraternity was getting canceled and they had a sledgehammer and they were getting kicked out. And for $5, you could take the sledgehammer and take a couple hits to the wall of their house. It was the greatest fundraiser ever. Oh, so much fun. I got a question. Let's talk about another college championship that took place this week. How much did either of you actually even watch the men's championship game on Monday night?
I fell asleep. There's that sleeping thing again.
It's
too late.
Yeah.
It's not even that. I just didn't care.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is the state of college sports.
What I heard, somebody was saying that a sixth man on one of those championship teams, that a sixth man coming off the bench, maybe averaging 5 or 6 points a game, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, will make like $1 million a year in NIL. So they're not even going to make that in the NBA close to it. But yet they're going to make $1 million a year on NIL. And now Mike, you talked about it. I can't even pronounce his name. This kid from Tennessee,
Nico Imaleva.
And the weirdest thing is all of the NFL players are ripping him to shreds.
Okay. He signed, well, it's not even a contract. After the season ended, he negotiated, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. Negotiated the new NIL deal.
$2 million a year.
Right. He gets to the week of the spring game and decides that he, for some reason, is going to go, I'm going to hold out. What are you holding out from? This is the state of where we're at with college athletics. So now all of a sudden you feel entitled enough that you can go to your coach and go, yeah, I'm not going to play in the spring game because I'm going to hold out for more money. What in the world are we doing? What are we doing? They're ruining college sports. There's no guardrails. We're off the guardrails. It's a free-for-all. All these kids are just thinking that they can. Where is the restrictions in terms of transferring from one school to? As far as I'm concerned, you get one transfer.
Yeah,
you make a decision.
Absolutely.
You go to a school. I'm getting on my soapbox. You make a decision. You go to a school. You don't like it. Things don't work out. I get it. Things happen. You want to transfer? You can transfer. This transferring 4 years for 4 years, 3-4 years is insanity. And this is a great example of it.
I mean, are these kids even going to classes?
Wow. That remains to be seen.
I mean, you're only at a school 1 year. You can't get put on probation in 1 year.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why you're transferring too, to be able to start fresh, and so you get a clean slate.
I mean, now we're gonna sound like old men yelling at clouds back in our day, but
pretty much.
I mean, that's what made college sports great, right? I mean, you look back at the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. Most of the kids, again, back in the day, most of the kids that were from Ohio went to Ohio State. Most of the kids were from Michigan, went to Michigan, right? There were some transfers, don't get me wrong, but it was a sense of pride. It was a sense of state pride. It was a rivalry. These rivalries are going away. I mean, they even talked about it at Ohio State. Like, these kids come in, they're from California, and they start talking about, oh, I know the rivalry. This has been inbred in me since I was this big. You're from Los Angeles. How in the world would you have any idea about that?
Yeah.
So it's too fake. It's becoming NFL light, NFL junior. I don't think that's good for college sports. This big noon stuff, all these big TV contracts, big noon. Who in the world wants to sit down at noon to watch the biggest college football game in the land for that week, right? 7 o'clock, or maybe at worst case 4:30. The only reason they say that the big noon kickoff ratings are so good is because people go and they put their TV on, and then they go outside and they mow the grass, and the TV's on anyway. But I don't like the big noon kickoff, and I don't like the way college sports in general are going. But there you go.
Yeah.
No,
Miller,
it's
your opinion?
No, I for once I agree with you in a lot of cases. There has to be a way to pay the players, because
I agree with that.
It's ridiculous that what they're doing. Can you make it equal? No, because the quarterback versus a fourth string offensive center who doesn't see the field 5 years is a different story.
Right.
But it's the money has gotten ridiculous. The money's out of control in a lot of cases. But if I'm in that situation, I can't blame a kid for doing that. I mean, you got to get with money.
No, if they're going to get paid, if they're going to get paid, they're going to get paid. That's not even what I'm arguing with. I agree that the players should be paid, but in terms of NIL and transfer portal and everything else. Let's set up some parameters. Let's set up some rules. The timing of the transfer portal is abysmal. It's not timed right.
Yeah.
Let's rein this in. Again, this is kind of a 1,000-foot view, but rein it in, put the guardrails in, and then let's try from there.
All right. Now that's being said, and I'm going to cry about all these kids making millions when I never did. I'm just going to say something here.
I would like to just get to know you.
You should have made millions, Miller.
You know it's that time. It's time for everyone's favorite segment. We're just going to get to know Mike and Jimmy.
Oh, boy.
So,
Here we go.
all right. So I got some questions here for you guys. The stranger, the better. All right. First one. How much sawdust do you think you could put into a Rice Krispie treat before people would start to notice?
Jim, since you're the lumber expert and you can talk about sawdust the best, please enlighten us.
Oh, that's a good one. 1.5 pounds.
1.5 pounds.
I'm going to go with 10 ounces of sawdust into the Rice Krispie treat, and probably no one would know.
All right.
Well, how big's the Rice Krispie treat?
Well, it's a standard Rice Krispie treat.
Well, no, you'd have to say the whole pan. Like, how much in the whole pan could you put in?
Oh, the whole pan?
The batch.
Yeah,
A
that's
pound
what I
would
said,
be way
1.5.
too
Oh,
much.
that's where Jimmy was going with that.
Yeah. All right.
My apologies.
Let's get back to a real question. If you were an inanimate object, what would you be and why? And Mike, you can't say I love lamp.
Jim?
Nope, this is you.
I'd be an anchor.
Because you're an anchor on this podcast, Michael.
I'm an anchor on the podcast. I'm anchoring my family. I'm anchoring my boat. I have no idea. For some reason, an anchor is the first thing that popped in my mind. I have no clue why.
It'd be a cinder block.
Oh, one and the same. Anchor and a cinder block. You can use a cinder block as an anchor. Speaking from the viewpoint. Okay, go ahead.
And I can't say, this is Jimmy, this is the last question, because I can't say this to your brother because we go on for 10 hours, but what is the most trivial thing about which you have a strong opinion?
Wait, say that again?
What is the most trivial thing that you have the most strong opinion about? Like that people park
Most
bad
useless thing.
or something.
Common sense.
Oh.
Not having common sense.
Oh, that's pretty good. Bravo.
Yeah.
Kudos.
All right, so that was everyone's favorite subject.
Same question?
That annoys the hell out of me.
I would like to just get to know you.
Can I add people that don't put their carts back?
Oh, that's a good one.
What?
Yeah, but I got the handicap sticker.
You're
so
the
I'm good.
idiot that put the cart is literally next to the cart return, and the buffoon leaves and doesn't put. All right, anyways.
Well, no, the
Sorry,
handicap
go
part.
ahead.
Handicap part spots are never near that thing, so of course. But all right.
Oh,
so last segment for tonight, guys. And I'm going to have to agree with this. Talk about trivial, but I don't think this is trivial anymore. Tipping has it reached a tipping point?
Another spectacular topic.
Okay, question for you guys. Let's go a couple different scenarios. You're getting carry out at a restaurant you frequent on a regular basis. How much percentage are you tipping?
Didn't we talk about this last week?
No. He teased it, I think.
I teased it.
Oh, that was Friday.
Yeah.
So it's a restaurant where you frequent normally, and you're getting takeout.
Yeah.
See, this is where
you know the people.
All right, so are you saying
Jim.
fast food, or are you saying
No, sit down.
You don't tip at fast food right now. And I say right now.
Right now.
All right. So like typically like I'll frequently order from Art and Jake's.
Good one.
Phenomenal food.
Yes.
It's gone down, honestly.
10%.
Okay.
Well, listen.
They're going and grabbing the food, bagging it up.
I would consider myself a very good tipper. I mean, I would have to have the absolute worst service in the world to not give at minimum 20%. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, I really do. But the whole takeout thing.
Well, that's why I said 10% for takeout.
Yeah, so I probably would do the same thing.
20%.
Yeah, I would probably do the same thing, probably 10%. But you feel awkward if you're walking in and you see people that you normally know and they're normally waiting on you, but you're doing takeout. So, I mean, it was never this way before. Who put us in this predicament?
What about pizza? What about pizza? Like you order pizza.
Well, that's usually, what is I mean,
that's a tough one.
I can't tell the last time I ordered pizza.
Yeah.
I usually
DiGiorno,
pick it
it's
up.
like takeout.
I pick it up.
Ward, we just make our own pizzas now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Miller got me making pizzas.
That's the greatest thing in the world.
Sorry, Jim. I cut you off on my pizza making ability.
It's okay.
Last one.
I got Jets right down the street from me.
Yeah.
So
the last place for tipping. How much do you? Okay, my friend, you go get your haircut. It's $25. How much do you tip?
I usually do at least 35, so $10.
$10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, same here.
Melinda, if you're listening, could you please back me up on that one?
All right.
Or watching.
We're allowed to say Lady Jane's here.
Oh. People think that I go to Lady Jane's. Like Jim Saluski, who I coach baseball with.
Where I go.
He used to rip on me all the time. Hey, Lady Jane's, what's going on? I'm like, I haven't gone to Lady Jane's yet, but maybe I will.
What is the craziest place you've been asked to put a tip? Anything out of the ordinary? Let me rephrase that. To tip a percentage on what you just paid. We're not playing.
Go ahead. No, never mind. Yeah. The craziest place I've.
Well, I'll start. I'll give the best example. I ordered vitamin patches for my. I have to put them on my shoulder for my multivitamins. Blah blah blah. In the checkout, it said our warehouse staff does a great job. How much would you like to tip the warehouse staff for doing your shipping for you?
Ooh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Holy cow.
Are you going to put that on your next order, like to your dealers? Like, I've done a great job. How much are you going to tip me for having your stuff delivered for you?
Yeah, that's a great idea. This is where we've gotten to. How are you going to tip your shipping logistics coordinators?
I got to think about this one. This is
again, I've always felt like I've been, and I'm not saying it to boast or something, but I always felt like I've been a pretty doggone good tipper. And I find myself in these situations. Kaylee loves to go to Menchie's, the yogurt place. And the girl or the boy that's behind the counter, they go, and there's going to be a screen popping up and you can choose what you wish. And then I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Now I got to, and then you look 10, 15, 20% other. I usually hit other and I do at least a couple bucks because I feel like I've been guilted into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. It's insane. We were at the what do you call it? The Bills. Who were the Bills playing? Bills Browns game last year at Ford Field. Remember, we went and did the self beer checkout, and the self beer checkout asked for a tip.
Oh yeah, that's right.
For the computer asked for a tip on self checkout. No, you're not getting a tip computer.
All right, so I came up with one.
Okay.
So
good.
PetSmart. You grab an 80-pound bag of dog food and you carry it.
This isn't
from
at the
back
grooming
of the
section.
store to the front of the store, and they're like, "Yeah, you want to give us a tip?" No.
I just carried the 80-pound bag.
I could see that in the dog grooming area, but in the regular checkout.
Yeah, I mean they got a tip jar. It's ridiculous.
For some reason, the How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And Max has got the sleigh on his back. I feel like he'd be saying, "Fetch my sleigh," and oh yeah, by the way, I want a tip, even though you did all the work.
Exactly.
There was one time, like you said, Mike. I'm normally a tipper where I go 20%, if not more, especially if we know the people. I was in Vegas. This was one of my CES trips, Consumer Electronics Show trips, when I was at Nokia. And big group of us, we decided to go to the most exotic hotel on the planet, which was the Hooters Hotel and Casino, which I don't think's there anymore. Nobody there, middle of the day. We are like the only people at lunch there, maybe one other table, and a touch classy joint. And the sitting there 15, 20, 30 minutes after we ordered, nothing. See our waitress sitting down talking to friends over there. We go to her. Hey, can you check on our food? Sure. She goes and checks on our food, brings it like, oh yeah, it's here. Everything's cold. Doesn't say anything, just walks away. We needed stuff. We had to go get things ourselves. And then she brings it out. And I think on a $110 bill, $120 bill for about 4 or 5 of us, I think I tipped $5.
Ooh,
$4. And I
Ouch.
purposely said, I go, this is what was for your effort. And normally I'm not that way, but if somebody is just not giving a crap whatsoever and just sitting doing nothing, that's...
Did she throw it at you?
I wouldn't have cared one bit. And that's when I'm on an expense account.
See,
You're
that's
the
what I
same
mean.
way.
It would have to be egregious and totally inept service for me to do something like that. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's not legitimate, but I always feel that wait staff is working their tails off, and I appreciate everything they do. And you can see the frustration on their face. 99% of the time I feel, it doesn't mean that doesn't happen. 99% of the time I feel that they're frustrated and the service is out of their, if the service is bad, it's not of their control, right? That's what I always feel. So that's sometimes, listen, I've had situations where I probably tipped close to 35, 40% on what I would consider not the greatest service, but I could see that the young lady was working her butt off. It was the establishment that was causing the problem. But yeah. So,
I mean, you get paid under minimum wage, so they work off of tips.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's just like being in sales. I mean, you're constantly dealing with.
If any of my accounts are listening, I would appreciate a tip from now on.
There we go.
Can you do that for me, please?
Next time I come to your account, can you tip me?
Yeah, that's right. I drove here to say hi. $5, please.
Cost me $75 in fuel.
What? There's what? I love those.
What?
What?
Well, to that effect, I think we are basically out of time. And
does that music mean we have to go?
I think that moved. Yeah, we're at a 56-minute mark, Michael. I think we're done. But I just want to say a couple things. Anything you guys want to say?
Turn the music down.
Anything you want to say before we kind of head out here?
No, another great week. Thanks, Mike McAndrews. That was supposed to be 15 minutes, turned into 30. Probably could have done another 30 minutes because I find him unbelievably interesting when he talks. His insightfulness, he is by far, I think we're not just saying this, he is one of the elite basketball coaches in all of sports in this area. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Jamie, how about you?
No, same. Glad we got to talk about Bobby and catch up again. So, got any plans for next week?
Those are surprises.
Surprises
Special
for everybody.
It's a surprise. Okay.
Cliffhangers.
Thank you to everybody.
Who shot JR?
Take care.
See you guys.